Free my people, free all my people. Free my people, free all my people. Let them go. Tell the lawyers and the courts and the judge that the war on drugs is a war on us. It's power to the people, destruction to the system. Free all of the drug offenders that are stuck in prison. The drug war is nothing but a corporate war for profit. And every drug arrest is money in somebody's pocket. The rich get richer at the expense of the rest of us. Conflict of interest, cops profit by arresting us. When they imprison you for drugs, the only victims you, they say it's for your well-being, but that simply isn't true. The drug was a business, prison is an institute of wage slavery for the companies who get loot by locking up non-violent individuals. Drug offenders of any kind are not criminals. They rather lock us up than see us educated, cause knowledge is power and slavery brings in the payment. Schools shutting down, prisons being built up. The drug wars making sure the prisons stay filled up. Companies who profit from it lobby for the drug war. It's nothing but business. The government's the biggest drug lord. Drug laws are unjust, classist, and racist. Slavery was never abolished, it changed faces. From plantations with slaves cotton picking, now it's corporations profiting on people locked in prison. They target in the darker rates for profit, they incarcerate people. There's no justice because the system is a marketplace. The term correctional facility's a joke. If the inmates were corrected, then the system would be broke. If the system went broke, then the system will collapse. Drug offenders aren't criminals, the victims of attack. They are prisoners of war for the profit of corporations and the government who forces laws upon the population. So tell the lawyers in the court and the judge that the war on drugs is a war on us. It has been a hoax since before Richard Nixon. The system is broke, yet they claim it don't need fixing. Isn't it obvious? Big corporate lobbyists created the drug war because that's what all the profit is. Now we suffering while these bloodsuckers in the government bringing all of the drugs, guns, and money in. And they punishing first-time felons for using or for selling with a draconian sentence. Non-violent offenders shouldn't have to do a day locked away in a prison cell for someone else's pay. This is what I say. It's time we put an end to this war against the people. Then it's all a prison exodus. Free my people, free all my people. Free my people, free all my people. Let them go. Tell the lawyers and the courts and the judge that the war on drugs is a war on us. The war on drugs is something that negatively impacts everyone within society in one way or another, whether they're conscious of it or not. It's not just the users and the dealers and their families and people locked up that are affected by it negatively. It's everyone, whether it's the taxpayers whose money is going into this black hole of a failed war on drugs, or it's people who are affected by everyday violence and crime that is a result of the war on drugs. You know, this is actual factual information. It's a conspiracy, not a conspiracy theory. It's a corporate conspiracy and it's backed by our government. I highly urge everyone to look into the issue on their own. You see the statistics and the facts presented in this video. I've included links in the information section below for you to do more research on your own. And today's 420, so all you weed smokers, don't just talk about how much you smoke and how good you smoke. That's meaningless. Instead, talk about marijuana's positive aspects. Talk about the medicinal purposes of it. Talk about hemp, industrial hemp, and how it could change the world and save our planet. Talk about our inherent freedom and our inherent liberty as people to do as we please with our minds and our bodies without the government telling us that we can or we cannot. Talk about ending this injustice known as the war on drugs. Let's go, y'all. Get big on.
All right. Thanks for joining me live tonight. This is Pete Wichert, host of The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. And it is May 15th of 2015. Yeah, basically I'm going to start getting back on the date, like pretty much the routine Thursdays and Saturdays. But Seth Davis, he was a little busy tonight and last night, actually, Seth. And I was going to do a show, but we're going to get together tomorrow, break down the news. There's a bunch to cover. We got a lot to get to, but I kind of wanted to come on just to make a couple statements quick. And I feel vindicated. I was actually going to play Dashboard Confessional Vindicated as the intro song because especially people here in Chicago, you might be well aware that O'Hare Airport got caught selling drugs with the post office, and there's like a media blackout on this particular subject. And I find it funny that the only way basically I even heard of it was I turned on the news. I'm watching, reading the little ticker at the bottom, and it just says major drug bust at O'Hare. So, basically, fans of this show know that I've been saying this. I've said it many times. The guests I've had, I've said it many times, period. Probably since the first show, that they were selling drugs out of O'Hare. Now, this is one of the smaller busts. They got caught actually. Now that this happened, I started researching, and this is like kind of crazy. It happens at least almost like once every year and a half. It's almost happened once every year. It's increased under Rahm Emanuel, and even Bill Murray, the actor here from Chicago, got caught smuggling drugs out of O'Hare. And again, I cannot give up my source even to the other local media outlets that have contacted me, and I appreciate that actually. That shows that the impact that we're having, really. I'm not, I can't even disclose what media outlet contacted me about O'Hare, but I was contacted. I gave my source a call, basically set him up with a reporter. So we'll see where that goes. And we might be seeing it locally here. And maybe he'll identify his source, and we'll find out exactly the extent of, how big this operation really is. So I consider that actually, a victory. But what happened is it's the post office, a guy, employee from the post office, basically stole drugs from the airport. It's kind of weird to me. I mean, I don't think they have like, I don't know, Walgreens with like cocaine there, but yeah, he apparently stole the drugs from there and then sold them. But I was told this is a giant operation. I was told about heroin. And the funny thing is, they've been busted for almost everything but heroin. And heroin is unfortunately increased, like the intake of the users since pretty much I'd say we got involved in Afghanistan. And Joe Biggs, said on the show that he was guarding, poppy fields and making sure production went through. And you got to think that they have to get that, those drugs back into the States. Now, O'Hare is not exactly in downtown, but it's still part of Rahm Emanuel, who is a gangland, like mob, fucking pretty much mob, Jewish mob. I think he's one of the most powerful people behind the curtain, man. That guy is dangerous. So, pretty much, I'm thinking that since this is increased or at least been exposed under Rahm Emanuel, it's probably going on during Daley's tenure. But I believe that Emanuel's up the ante with the smuggling, and they kind of just caught this dude from the post office and made him like an example. And CBS, Fox News, WGN, ABC out here have not done one report on this, nor have they done one on any of the other occasions. And it's kind of interesting if you think about how many times this has happened and look it up, and there'll be a couple news articles, but never a clip from a news broadcast. So they're kind of trying to really sweep this under the rug. And the reason for that, I mean, it's clear. It's basically to, there's probably people, good people in, things like the FBI and other, alphabet agencies that probably want to catch these guys, right? So they probably caught the small fish, and they're not even really, marching them out as an example that like, hey, we're fighting this. And instead they're like sweeping under. Like I said, it seems like this guy's a scapegoat to get your eyes, mind, and thoughts off the bigger issues at hand, the bigger operation. And to be honest with you, the guy that told me, I've said this before about this, was probably back already in like 2009, 2010. And he basically has no dog in the fight. He's in the medical field, okay? And I know him very, very well, and he's a very honorable guy, and would not lie about something. I just said I thought something was going on at my old work where I used to coach, and he responded at O'Hare. I mean, something was going on there, And he responded by saying right away, just, hey, they're selling drugs there. And I go, really? Like in the airport? Like, he's like, no, no, like smuggling. I'm like, big operation. I heard they're smuggling heroin. And when I asked him, how do you know? He said he couldn't reveal a source, just like I can't reveal him. But he's a doctor, so that's as much as I'm gonna say. And he basically would not just come out and say that unless he knew. And he's pretty much well connected and has a lot of famous people he knows, including the McCaskies that own the Chicago Bears. And that's as far as I'm going to go with that. I think I even said a little too much, but I'd like to thank him for that because, like, again, I feel vindicated. And I got a lot of people emailing me like, well, what's your proof? And at that time, I didn't even bother really Googling, just I didn't think it happened just because the lack of media coverage. Well, I would have sent these people those articles, but I just discovered them. So you could look it up yourself. I mean, you got people like even Bill Murray uh, fucking selling drugs at O'Hare. We've had ironic, weird fires with employees slitting their wrists and uh, lighting the radar center on fire. I mean, that doesn't even make sense to me, dude. You could just light the bitch on fire and burn yourself in it. It's kind of like that story that Adolf Hitler took a cyanide capsule and shot himself. I mean, either you really wanted to die or it's BS. There's been a lot of sketchy things happening, and obviously I've had a gun pulled to my head at O'Hare by Chicago police with no badges. I mean, that just happened about a month ago, and the communist flag, the road being closed now ever since that incident. I mean, it's a little sketchy. I've had people that worked in military bases underground and have confirmed based off of all the pictures and videos I have tons of videos of this on my YouTube page of just me driving past the airport, my camera. And since they closed the Irving Park Road, which, by the way, the people of Bensonville came up to me and they would like me to do a petition. I'm banned from the White House website. So I'm gonna get that together and we're gonna try to reopen the road because they're not doing anything there. It almost seems like they closed it because of me. So I kind of feel responsible the way because there's a lot of people and businesses suffering out there and they're not doing anything. So they could probably reopen that damn road. So I gotta figure out a website, a way to get this to the people out there in Bensonville and even other suburbs, Addison, things like that are in the area because it's causing a lot of problems for the locals. Traffic, uh, basically, they're getting routed around the airport. For most people, they'd be pissed. For me, that's a way for me to basically uh, do some recon. So I mean, I've noticed some really sketchy stuff. A lot of structures that are military based, not for an airport. We have like fortified buildings on hills. We got electric barbed wire coming in. We have Chicago police stations in Elgin. Uh, we have literally a ton of things, underground structures, roads. We have former correctional buses driving through the inside. You have like Area 1 style security up on the hill in the brushes. You have spy cameras, more cameras in the O'Hare region on the roads, not in the airport, on the roads than all of Chicago. I mean, that is pretty intense in itself. Think about that. I mean, that's a lot of damn cameras for not being in the airport. If you include those, I mean, shit, who knows how many they have? And sure, they have audio, surveillance, things like that. And anyone could do their research and find out that it used to be a military base. There's a couple videos or one video of a guy that either went missing or hasn't looked into it much more that I tried to contact where he used to live there. He was taking a video and he was talking about army training because I've had a fan say the same thing that he was going to check out his house where he, grew up his whole life, and he couldn't get in. It was Army, and they were busting down doors and going in, and what looked like gun confiscation. So wouldn't shock me. And the whole blackout on the news of each of these incidents is pretty compelling, because why? How could that not be on the news? I mean, that's the real question: is how could it not be? And I mean, with these multiple cases of drug scandals and drug smuggling out of O'Hare, we're just scratching the surface. We need to get to the bottom of this, figure out if it's government sponsored, figure out basically what the heck Rahm Emanuel thinks of this. I'd like to hear his thoughts, but no, he doesn't say anything. No politician has said anything. Nobody, not even the police, really have come out with a statement that gives you any details whatsoever. And I'd like to wonder what Rahm Emanuel's role really is. I mean, in this, because the city, we're struggling in many ways, like especially our small businesses right now. And unfortunately, he's probably seeing a good cut of that illegal money on top of the extremely high taxes we pay in Cook County. That's why I go out there to DePage County for gas, for cigarettes, and almost everything's cheaper out there. So the question becomes, how can a city invade other territory, other count, or in another county and other townships, other towns? I mean, that is unheard of. It's like Chicago took over parts of unincorporated. They've taken over parts of Elgin and have a police station. Like I said, Higgins and like right before Elmhurst Road on the north side of the street in a trailer with a bunch of, as far as the eye could see, white, kind of like Hurricane Katrina looking, you know, I hate to say it, but it looks like, FEMA like trailers. And just the Homeland Security presence, the spying, the the harassment, the gun pulled to my head, slapping me with the gun, putting it in my back, asked me if that's stranger in fiction. No one with badges on. I mean, something's going to communist flag. I mean, we need to get to the bottom of this, and it's driving me nuts. But I know that that's not even the main thing. The main thing, in my opinion, is it is a military base that is being opened up with a black budget here in Chicago. I almost wonder if it is a private company like a Blackwater-ish, because I see these guys, and I encourage people to get your cell phone cameras out. I mean, I'm here in Jefferson Park, and going towards O'Hare daily, I see military helicopters, Blackhawks, Apaches, flying with loaded, with a machine gun, a guy in a ski mask, pointing it at me while I'm walking my dogs. I mean, that's not a free country. And I mean, granted, that time I didn't get it. I wish I did. It was before I had a show even. I wish I would have got it on camera, but I was like frozen. I was kind of like shocked. I was scared, because they did a little, almost like half circle, pointing that damn thing at me. And they're lucky that I didn't have my conceal and carry then. I would have pointed mine right at them too. See how they like it. And oh yeah, that reminds me too, while I'm talking about conceal and carry. For those who have watched the pathetic attempts to try to sabotage me, calling me an elf, saying my eyes look weird. Well, yeah. See, here's my ears when you actually just have them still. And yeah, maybe I do have a little big ears, but not pointy like that. That was kind of crazy. And also, before you try to make one of your main points about me, that I have a guns, conceal and carry training class that sponsors the show, before you try to say that that's like impossible, why don't you read the city of Chicago's damn law? We have conceal and carry now, you idiot. Okay, that's why I am able to have that sponsor. So I am practicing what I preach. And sons of Cain, whatever the hell they're talking, they like to freeze frame me, right? And get my eyes when I'm pissed, like, oh, and shit. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, if anyone believes any of those videos, yeah, I'm a demonic elf. Okay. And apparently I'm associated with Alex Jones, which I never knew and is pretty cool. But I mean, honest to God, all she got on me was a freeze frame of me pissed and my eyes big, and then pauses on my nose. I mean, dude, this bitch is weird. I'd like her to show her face so I could do the exact same thing and see how she looks and fucking see what she has to say about that when she looks like an elf. And my guess is that she's too stupid to actually be a government agent trying to just sabotage us like I initially thought, based off how relentless she was attacking Biggs. More likely, she's just really stupid, bored, ugly, and I'm kind of like actually entertained by how stupid her videos are. So she thinks she's doing any damage to me. No, you're just giving me a couple things to laugh about during these, hard times when my mom's still in the hospital. So thank you. Your 11-part series showed that I'm a demonic elf that works with Alex Jones and Adam Kokesh, who I had on my show one time, and Joe Biggs and Seth Davis and, the people at Slam. And that's funny because really I haven't had Joe on in a while. I haven't seen him since Hammond Square. It's not like, I've really, I did the video sticking up for him because I couldn't take her attacks on him anymore. Uh, let's see. And that's really, I guess, what started this all. But I'm done talking about her. I just wanted to, that just brought, when I was talking about guns, it brought that thought to my mind. Just how stupid could someone be? Like, try to attack me, but doesn't even know the damn law in which I was so happy that when it changed, like a few years ago. And yeah, so go do your research before you attack me. And I am not a globalist that is trying to unite people across the world. I understand that that's not even globalism in the first place. That's trying to give people that are less privileged knowledge, and knowledge is power. And I'll go to the grave trying to unite people. I'm trying to unite people mainly in this country, but hell yeah, I'm trying to unite people around the world. But there's a difference between uh, uh, basically global conspiracy to take control and exploit people, which our government does, and then there's us that are trying to basically give knowledge and educate people all across the world, all across the country, about the tyrannical governments that are in control of their countries and how we could peacefully fight back. And the only way to fight back against, whether it's locally, whether it's on a bigger scale, is to do it peacefully, to unite around common, like, things you have in common, and put the little things that we don't aside and focus on the real oppressors, the government. And sorry if that offends people, but why should the people in Africa be exploited and killed, worked to death, and mined? Why should people in any country get screwed by big banks? That's what we're trying to point out. The whole fascist military industrial complex that is widespread and not just in this country. However, we tend to try to work on this country because this is where I was born and raised, in Chicago, Illinois, probably one of the worst cities as far as corruption goes. So me speaking my mind like this in the city is dangerous. And people that don't even show their face make excuse me, pathetic attempts to try to demonize me. Thank you very much. Videos suck. And you actually, led me into a good point about clarifying what I mean by unifying people. And that is, again, we all have, problems. We all have issues with one another. We all have differences. However, these differences should not impair our ability to actually just have the Constitution back and restored. I mean, it's being burnt right in front of our faces. And that's what I mean by unification is we need to show people how this is being done here, but also point out in other countries how it's being done. You, you see what I'm saying, guys? And if you want to call me a globalist, that's fine because I would like to see the whole damn world and our country change for the better. And if that's a globalist, fine. My definition of a globalist is someone who is pulling the strings, the hidden hand, profiting off the expense of other people's well-being, other people's uh, basically ability to live a normal life. I mean, they shipped out all the jobs here. The people of Chicago are feeling it. The people in Baltimore are feeling it. And recently, the Baltimore Orioles, I think his general manager came out and was talking about how our government's turning to a police state. And that's why these riots and things like that have happened. So I tip my hat. I, appreciate people that are in positions of power like that have been criticized, ridiculed for coming out and saying that, but basically telling the truth. And even having a game with no people. I mean, that shows right there. I mean, a lot of people like InfoWars, and so I'm not directly associated with them. They tend to rip on all sports. Well, there's a lot of people that know what's going on in the sports world. There's a lot of people, and the more people we have, especially people like general managers, presidents of teams speaking up about the police state, oh, that's a victory for us. That's a victory for us. So as far as the whole looting and rioting went, that was a loss because we've been saying that's their goal, that's their plan, and it happens still. So I feel like we failed, but you can't put yourself in their shoes. You don't know exactly how a community could just get pissed off from dealing with corrupt cops. Because where do you turn to when the police are corrupt? Nowhere. So I'm not saying that what they did was right, but I agree that it's got to stop the killing, especially of young innocent black males. I mean, this is crazy. And I know it happens with white cops killing white people, but the media takes it and they spin it, and it just turns into this big ordeal that's going to get people stirred up. It's like they found the formula. And to me, I've been trying to point this out, but it's like, all right, somebody gets killed, the footage gets, or in the one case where the guy actually got charged for murder, the cop, footage gets sent or tips get sent. The media comes and at first just play into the protesters, and basically make them into rioters. They kind of push their agenda indirectly through the news broadcast to encourage rioting and looting. And we need to realize that when they're doing that, they want us to do it. And they were clearly doing that in Baltimore. They're clearly doing that in Ferguson. They're clearly doing that with the Gardner case, which maybe was justified in that case. But unfortunately, when things get out of hand like that, like Ray Lewis said it the best, a lot of hardworking people built those buildings and businesses and don't have insurance. And they're gone, like I saw in Ferguson, the destruction. And those people did nothing. Half of them are black themselves, you know. And it's sad. It's sad that those people suffer. You're not, when you're throwing a brick through a business and taking their belongings, you're not getting the government. You're not getting the police. You're getting one of your brothers or sisters that own the business. You're getting a friend, a neighbor. possibly even family member or something. So it's sad, but I'm glad that things calm down there. I just really hope that the police start acting more responsible and realizing their job is dangerous. But please take that responsibility, and before you pull your gun out and shoot, use your non-lethal methods of taking down and detaining somebody. I mean, that's your job. Your job isn't to shoot first. It's not an assassination mission. You're not in the special forces. Hell, if you wanted to, go join. But if you get scared with one guy, I'm like five with five cops, and you shoot the guy like the homeless guy in Albuquerque, New Mexico, I don't think you'd last a day in the Army, Marines, anything. So I'm glad that lady attacked me. It really sparked good, injected a couple good thoughts I thought in that. But again, I tip my hat to Ray Lewis, the Baltimore Orioles. Was it Baltimore Orioles GM? I can't think of his name. I had it, but for in my honest take, de-escalating the situation when government officials failed to do so, the news failed to do so, the mayor failed to do so. They ordered a stand down there. I mean, this is the whole race war, the whole police against citizens war, all wrapped into one. See, it's a multi-pronged attack. They're using both the cops against people, I guess, that believe in just not getting shot down, having a right to a trial, and the police, and then the blacks and the whites, and they act like every cop is white and every protester is black, which was not the case. So you have them trying to spin those two things into one, and it's effective. It's working, and I'm here to break that shit. And again, back to answering one of her concerns. She was saying, "Oh, I use too much profanity," and that's again the bitch from like the Sons of Cain, uh, whatever the hell it is, stupid YouTube channel. Uh, like, honest to God, I'm done talking about her. I'm gonna give up, but I can't. I'm gonna get myself mad. But yeah, no, I'm done with them. But honestly, I want to call to action for people here in Chicago to start filming these military helicopters. I'm not the only one that sees them. Other people probably have better film that I could get based off of my crappy old phone. And I would love to have you send them to me at petewickert@att.net. And the reason for this is I am doing a documentary. I'm almost completely done with my O'Hare one. Although again, can't tell you exactly what is going on there. I can present the evidence I've obtained, and I'm almost done with that. And I also want to work on one that breaks down the last, I'd say, about 8 years and the increased military activity and who it may be and what their agenda is, and pretty much go from there. But I'd like other people, every time I ask for people to do this, you guys send me great stuff. And I do have to catch up on my emails. I wanted to say I'm sorry to those. I glanced at them prior to going on. I was overwhelmed. I have a ton to get to. I will by tomorrow. We'll answer your fan questions. But help me with, if you're driving by O'Hare, get footage. If you see military activity, get footage. Send them to Pete Wickert. That's my name, like below me on the screen here, but no spaces, no capitals, at att.net. And yeah, I think if we collaborated on this, we could really expose a lot of the corruption. And I'd also like to ask the people that are, focused on the environment and, the EPA, all these people like that, where are you here in Chicago, where when O'Hare, which is almost to me like a city now, like a doomsday city, is draining the Des Plaines River to create this Lake O'Hare, if it's ever going to exist, or if it's just a way to stream or get the water from the the Des Plaines River and channel it into cool like reactors or something like that. They say they're building a Lake O'Hare, but when I used to deliver pizzas on the map that was probably about 20, 30 years old, there's a Lake O'Hare on there too. So this has been in the works for a while. But they're draining a river. There's deers that I go to see with my dogs because my dogs love deers, as you probably have seen if you've seen any of the videos I posted with them. And they're starving to death, and they're migrating closer into the city. I mean, I never used to see deers in my area. Now I'm seeing them and stuff. So they're they're killing a bunch of animals. I'm sure they're killing the fish. They're killing literally our natural habitat here, and it's gotta piss some people in the whole environmentalist movement if there are real people that care, then come out and do some research on it. You could see everything. You could see it from Google Earth, like Seth told me the other day. I mean, he's in Washington State and he could see, this. So I'm challenging people to help me in this. And I think that if we came together, we could really, do some damage on this. And the people of Bensonville and many suburbs over there, the people of Chicago, but also the people of America are being screwed because these things are at other places like Denver International Airport. They have what a lot of people believe to be a FEMA or no, the Denver underground structure. Well, again, I think that's O'Hare, and Denver is like a whole facade. So everyone goes and runs to Denver, and they go sneaking over here at O'Hare. No one knows where they're at. So, then you got LAX, where they have a FEMA camp. A lot of people say so. A lot of these sketchy things happen near airports. So we need to blow the lid off this. That's the bottom line. And it's almost kind of sad that people out here really don't care that I'm the person that people in Bensonville need help come to. Yes, I never thought I'd have this responsibility, but I'm glad to help. And I just need to find a good petition site, and maybe I'll do a physical one. But I know how that works with them. So I'd like the environmentalists to step up here in Chicago if we can have any real ones, or if you guys are all, you know, Bill Gates, Al Gore type, then just stay away from us. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So I again, I'd like to remind you tomorrow on May 16th, 2015, Seth Davis and I should be doing a show around 6 or 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. And don't forget to check out tworealnews.com. The Truth is Stranger in Fiction on Facebook. Just type that in on the search engine on the top on Facebook. It'll pop right up to my page. Like it, share it. If anyone would like to help out financially, it's some very tough times right now. Can't even go to the studio because all the expenses of my mother and things like that. So dollar helps. If you want to send me a card with 5 cents in it, I'd be happy. So again, you could email me at Pete Wickert with no spaces or capitals at att.net. Pete Wickert at att.net. I'd really appreciate that because things are getting pretty hard, and I want to go all out. Want to get back into the studio, to the new studio, but can't. I can't do it when I got to take care of my mom 24/7. But since she's been in the hospital, I would have loved to want it gone in, but it's just been too much of a financial burden. And that's another thing that lady accuses me of, is making money. I wouldn't be pleading like this for help if that were the case. And I wish it was, but it's not. Uh, she wants to bring up laws about my sponsor all put it this way, a lot of people probably think like her too and don't know, because I haven't gotten much of anything from that sponsor. So uh, a lot of people, I guess, in Chicago don't realize they could get a conceal and carry permit. But hopefully it grows to like how Aurora is. Aurora is a big city with no crime because they have guns. Chicagoans, we need to wake up and realize, to stop the gang violence, to stop robberies, cops ain't gonna just appear in front of you and a criminal. You got to get your gun legally. And yeah, so thank you for tuning into this. Just again wanted to update you on. I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but just my prediction of O'Hare selling mass amounts of drugs has been confirmed by mainstream media here, although they have brushed it under the rug, which doesn't surprise me whatsoever. And again, I'm almost done with my O'Hare documentary. I'm working on a police state documentary, and I'm also almost done with my book, and I got to get in contact with Sandy Frost, or if anyone who is listening and is a publisher, knows a publisher also, please email me at petewickert@att.net. But yeah, it's America the Fourth Reich, and it goes into a lot of the secret programs the Nazis were working on that then came to America and were mistaken as alien craft, UFOs. Well, the real definition of a UFO is an unidentified flying object, not an alien craft. And they flipped that as a giant cover to rape us with a black budget, which to this day is just increasing and increasing. And even in the past, I have proof. I go from the first reported UFO sighting by Kenneth Arnold and break that down to Roswell, to many other well-known incidents, and give a logical explanation with proof on exactly what it was, where it originated from, and usually what Nazi scientist brought this particular protocol over, and could even tell you when he came, who he came with, and what military installation he went to. And you'll see that these so-called military or so-called alien craft always are picked up by military and brought to these bases where the paperclip scientists and Nazi scientists were at. And that's came to my mind to bring that up when I started watching, O'Hare videos. You type in O'Hare Airport, it's like thousands about that one UFO sighting, that a lot of people saw. And I just saw a video clip of it. I mean, it's interesting aircraft. However, with the technology I could prove, and I will prove in my book, there's no way to say you could say that's alien or not. I mean, I'm not saying that there can't be aliens, period. There very well could be. However, they would probably just wipe us out. And what this thing did, take off vertically, it's been done, and it actually has been something that again the Nazis started, and we have fighter jets that are not even classified that do it, that land vertically and can take off in 100 yards vertically. So you got to rethink this whole UFO thing. It's a very, very well done conspiracy, because what it does is robs us, and then it works as a dual cover up, because other countries that say Russia sees something flying, they don't think it might be just your citizens. At least your military probably knows. I mean, both countries, Russia and the U.S. Avro car was a disc that took off vertically that sucked. That it's probably a front cover story, the Russians believe. Then the Russians also had one that there's footage of, but not flying, with missiles on it. So that tends to make you believe that this thing actually could fly if they had missiles on it. Otherwise, it feels like the Avro car bouncing like this, it'd be pretty damn dangerous. So just once you realize that we've been lied to, about everything. I mean, the Nazis were close to a nuclear bomb. We had to blow up their heavy water supply. We destroyed a ferry, killed civilians to do it. They were the first to split the atom. They were working on a plane to deliver a nuke to New York. They were working on tons of other things like the Bell, the Glocka. And my book basically ties it all in. And it will, I believe, be one of the more well-written debunkings of almost every single major UFO sighting that is claimed to give, uncontrafutable evidence of alien existence. And I'm sorry if you're, a big believer in the aliens, but that should make you happy that humankind could do such things, that we can use nuclear power to possibly use this thing like the Nazis tried, or, other forms of, I have documents that they used plasma back already in the 1930s, 40s for Nazi Germany to try to power these things. And that's what they called the Vril, which was based off Madame Blavatsky Vril power. That's like a natural power. Well, that was like kind of like their way of secret, this is a real deal type thing. And they had crafts like the Hanabu 1 and Hanabu 2 that there's documents that have survived that are UFOs to the eye in the alien way. You would think, oh my God, that's an alien, but no, it's just a Nazi craft. I'm sorry to break the news, but we should be proud of our achievements, just not how we obtained them, through secrecy, robbing the public, and bringing in war criminals. It's that damn obvious. I mean, Werner von Braun, head of NASA, killed a lot of people in London with V2 rockets. And he was the poster child. So what does that tell you for the rest? Well, I guess I'm just going to end the show. I just gave you a little sneak peek of my book, but it also, I switched it and I've been working on it, and it also leads into the development of the police state, DHS, and how they're like the Gestapo, things like that. Their papers, the national passport, all sorts of things. I tie it in and compare it to Nazi Germany, and basically prove that we are just carrying out the same philosophy that the Nazis had, and we're just a little better at the propaganda because we learn from their mistakes. And thank you for tuning in to Truth is Stranger Than Fiction on, again, May 15th, 2015. And Seth Davis and I will be doing a show tomorrow, and the 16th. So see you tomorrow. Stay vigilant, and thanks for your support. God bless. I'm going to play an outro as well.
Free my people. Free my. Yeah. These are automatic. You know what we do. Get big on. I'ma set it off. Well, I be looking through my mind's eye. Oh my, look at how the time flies. 8 years ago I died, but once again I rise. Resurrected, pick up 10 detectives who arrested me. They set me free, that's how I manifested my destiny. Unless I be receptive of the message that's reflected by everything in life. It's all connected and it's relative. If the devil lives, he lives inside of us. Pride and prejudice, jealousy, envy, and a lot of lust. And how we trust, that's the model that people gathered. When I was just a kid, never thought that I'd be a felon. And now I see myself in the face of a kid's innocence, in the eyes of people blinded by the bliss of ignorance, in the mind of villains, drug dealers, killers who militant, addicts and alcoholics who violent and belligerent. I am them and they are me. There is nothing as real as this. Yet without relativity, the enemy would still exist.
Love you, Mom.